Well, greetings to everyone who's watching BNP TV. It's always a pleasure to have you guys. We are so delighted to be doing this show right now, and I'm so happy to have two guests. And as they always say, ladies first. Let me start by welcoming my friend Lycra, who is on the right side. Maybe she can, also share with you her greetings, and also maybe tell us how she has been and why she was, because we are missing her.
All right, so good morning, everybody. Is it good morning or good afternoon?
It's okay, depending upon the place.
All right. Okay, so good afternoon. I'm really happy to be here. My name is Lycra. It has been a while. I was just, doing my stuff, but I'm really happy to be back.
Yeah, awesome. We are so happy to have you again here. Okay. I'm also with Brother Obama. That's his nickname, by the way. His true name is Edouard Manirakiza, and also we would like to let him, also tell you hello.
Hello to everyone. This is my pleasure to actually be here again, as of course the guy has been introducing me through names. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. So we have to say again that we love you. And before we go straight to the topic, let me tell you that more than 65% of Burundians are young people, and mostly you will find them at school. They are school learners, they are students. So when they are graduated, they are granted with a degree. So we want that today. Does a degree matter in today's world? And I will just ask right away the first question. Let me start by Lycra.
Yeah, okay.
Lycra, does a degree really testify the skills that somebody has, or?
I would say it depends, because, if I want to be a doctor and I don't have university degree, people won't believe me. I mean, what will I tell to people if they come to see me as their doctor? So this is going to be a problem, because you have to prove, and people will not trust in you if they know that you didn't go to university for your, to be a doctor. So it's really important, and it depends on your aspirations and who you want to be.
Well, you just, went to the core of the topic. I mean, even the title, you reply to the topic itself. And there's another question I asked. Maybe we'll get back to you and you're going to answer to that. Okay. Let's just listen to Brother Obama's take on that. Does a degree matter in today's world? And then maybe I get back to the same question I asked, because she didn't really answer that.
Okay. Let me try to have some ideas, through the kind of observation I have on those kind of questions. Number one, we need to know that the world itself now, from the place where you look at. So actually the world is not the same as it used to be in the former times. In the former times, people used to just be given this kind of papers or documents. Let me use this kind of a specific word, documents. And when they could just finish their studies, they used to be given some works, being hired in some different services. But for the moment, of course, the documents at some point are needed, but they are not being focused. So people don't have a great focus on the documents, but rather the experiences of people who should simply be hired in some types of services. Of course, they fit. They just refer to the experience. Of course, the one who is supposed to be hired must have. That is number one. So number two, we find, of course, different people those who think that they know a lot, they are graduate, maybe from university, they succeeded. I even saw some different people who are able to deal with the medical issues, being at certain hospital, but they did not just go to school, but they ended up being experienced in the career, in the same career, till even the doctors who finish their studies, they ask them questions about how they do some stuffs in medicine, in those kind of medical issues. So I think on my side, based on the observation I make, of course, because we are in the world where people value documents, but still there are people, and that those people are, the number is being huge. They don't value that, but rather they need the experience of a person, so he can simply be hired in a certain sector. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. So we're trying to grasp, your feedback. I mean, your answer to the question. It's as if the degree doesn't really matter so much. If you try, rather now the experience is what matters. So I just want to come back to the question asked. Does the degree really testify the skills that somebody acquired at school?
No, the degree doesn't testify. But if I try to go, where you want me to go before, I think for me, the degree matters. All right? Because even if you apply for a job, maybe, for me, I have done, human nutrition in university. If I want to apply for a job, they will ask me for a degree. Maybe I'm applying to be a secretary somewhere. Okay, I will present some experiences I have done as a secretary. But then they want to know if I have any type of degree, and it's really good. Even though I didn't study what I'm applying for, they really feel like secure. So people will always ask us degrees, even if what we're applying for is really different than what we have studied as university. So yes, degree really matters, and it depends on the country and what maybe you are applying for. What is the requirements?
Well, thank you very much for such a reply. And as you're saying, depends upon countries, and we know all over the world many people are graduating in different fields, and sometimes you find some people master what they learned, others don't, of course. And as you said, it doesn't really testify, but the degree makes you feel secure. And sometimes when you are applying for a given job, you need to submit something that can really show that you have got those skills. And then here, just let me ask Mr. Obama, he said the degree doesn't really testify what somebody learned. What do you think?
So that depends, because when you just deal with, of course, you guys went to school, and you ended up maybe being at some position where you positioned yourself saying that maybe due to what I know I went through, I can do something. So it depends on a person, of course, who studied, by the way. So, but generally speaking, as she's been saying, degree cannot really testify what somebody knows, but what somebody really knows is how many times he's been through that same thing. So because when you just dealing with, for example, this kind of career of medicine, medical care, career, what people actually value is not the document you have, but how many times have you been spending just treating people at certain hospital? Maybe that they can just trust you that some of clinical cases there that actually happen to be presented. But if you such a person who value always what you get from school, you would even end up missing even the jobs in some different areas. So I think what is needed there is knowing, though the world is moving fast, where people need to just believe in this kind of system of technology. By the way, in technology, they don't just care about the documents, of course, people do have. They don't care, but what they care is you there and you are working. They would just start counting, times you've been there, and your brain becomes smart because of the experience.
Well, trying to gather your viewpoints, I kept wondering, you made me think so deep, please, so to the point that sometimes I doubt about even myself, because even about the education system,
Right.
Because you can't tell me that the degree doesn't testify my skills, whereas I know I've passed more than, even like the third of my life to school. At school, I was there and I learned. I did some theories. I did some practical studies. So how can you tell me it doesn't really testify? Whereas I learned that. And even that also gives maybe the power to the institutions, to the schools, the universities, to show and to recognize, even the states, all over the world.
Okay.
The states, they recognize the power of schools, and they give them that ability to grant degrees to their students. So how can you say the degree doesn't really testify what you learned? Even as you were talking about doctorate,
All right.
doctors or some medical agents, when they go to treat people.
I need to ask you this.
Yeah, come on.
Supposing that you have a certain company somewhere,
Yep.
and there are so many people there presenting some documents, but there are some guys who are more experienced in the career that you're in your company. Among the two groups, who do you think fit your job? I mean, your hiring place.
Well, that's already a tricky question, because I know already. You said I know already people are more experienced. So why do I have to preoccupy myself with those people who like God's? Of course I have to choose those I don't know already. So
Good.
All right.
they can do better.
So I can say, for example, this English is our second language or third language. And then there are some people who went to university, to study English, okay?
Come on.
And then, if you don't keep practicing that English, I don't care, even though you have the degree, you may not speak well because there is a certain moment you didn't practice, then you forgot because this was not your first language, you are not a native English native, whatever. So this can make, see that even though you have the degree, you don't fit for, maybe you're applying for English teacher, you don't fit the job. Because yes, you have your degree, but your experience, what happened after? You just, you sat at home and your degrees were there and you didn't practice, then you forget. So I think this is to say that
you came up with a very, very strong example, so bright. So I can't, now, bring any other objection to that. So, but let me now ask about, what we are, facing here in the country. We have so many young people, so many graduates who are done with their studies, but you see they are still unemployed. There's this gap in terms of unemployment and employment. Do you think is that their degrees are not that much powerful to help them or to enable them to satisfy the employers or people are supplying the jobs, or it's all about maybe some other factors?
It's okay, good. I think initially, when they started their journey of education, many of them had this kind of philosophy that when they would end up their studies, they will just be hired somewhere. Some of them maybe were called that one day they have to be in a certain place being hired. So due to this kind of philosophy that of course those people developed over and over many times, this is a kind of kind of a level that may not just, of course, make them to be maybe flexible to simply keep on feeling like they have to keep on learning. Some of them, when they finish their studies, they need to go back home. So while the people who did not have this kind of philosophy of being hired somewhere, they know that when they finish their studies, they need to do their best in seeking some other types of skills, which comes as additional to the skills, of course, they have. By the way, you know that when you went to school, so many people went to school. If you see them being able in just doing maybe what they do in their career, so the problem is themselves, because they are not experienced enough, they will do nothing for the country, even for some other people. So I think there, for that kind of reason, if this philosophy of not just being flexible to learning is still away or far from them, they can never actually get hired somewhere, because what those hiring people need, they need experience, the experienced people, those who are able to, to do things based on the experience they do have. There are even those who are experts, because more you just seek some types of information, you end up becoming expert in it. So, which is the same example, of course, she's given recently. She says, in this English, if you stop actually practicing it, it is easy to forget about it. So the same as other skills, because all of those skills, if you stop practicing the same thing that you're passionate about, you will forget it.
So what I have in mind is that, when young people, choose to go to school, or university, because university is when we are so much mature, so they don't really think the reason why they want to study any kind of, field they want to be in. So they don't really ask themselves, why do I want to study this? So they go with what their parents told them, like, you have to do this because you're going to have a job. You have to do this because it pays off, you're going to have a lot of money. But then after they are, they're disappointed because they're going to find there's no job anywhere. So they have to check the reason why I want to do that. Do I love it? Is it my calling? All right, because if it is not, you're going to miss the whole stuff. And then they can go for it. And like Edouard said, they have to be, open to all kinds of opportunities, You don't have to say, this is not for me. You have to try everything. You can do everything if you want. But we have a lot of young people, they want to be rich immediately. So they're just, when they see something, they see any kind of thing they can do, they minimize it. Instead of going for it, trying it, and you're going to keep, going higher, higher, higher. That's what I can say.
Well, thank you very much. Then I just want to ask this question again. When you don't have even that experience, or sometimes you don't even a place to get that professional internship. So, and employers, when they are hiring, they are looking for experiences. So when young people, my young brothers, young sisters, are gonna get something to do, when are they get that employment, when are going to get that job, do you think they don't have any chance to be employed somewhere?
For me, I really think they have a chance, because we all start from somewhere. I started by volunteering, so they have to volunteer. And some people, they don't want to volunteer. You can volunteer in anything, I want to learn. I don't need your money, but just teach me. I just want to observe what you're doing. Or you have your smartphone. You can learn from, Google things, YouTube, whatever. We have a lot of, platforms where you can learn a lot of things. There's no excuse these days. No excuse. Mm-hmm. Yeah. This is what I can say.
Well, okay, Obama, same question. sometimes you're learning, but what you're saying, like I'm not well convinced. Let me
Not well convinced, yeah.
because you're telling me you have to learn maybe from Google or from social media.
Yeah.
The technology is evolving, of course. We are upgrading day in, day out. You can get a whole stuff, but when you don't practice, when you don't go to the field, you're not on ground, it means there is something that's still lacking. And that is what we've been even focusing on. Experience.
Yeah.
So we are going to acquire that experience.
Yeah, in that way you need to see what do you want. If you want to learn English, that you can go, YouTube and whatever. And if you want to know how to sew, so you can, look at YouTube, and then you have to find a way how to get a machine, a sewing machine, and then you can learn from there. But I think there are really opportunities. There's no way you can say that no job, nothing. I mean, no place to go. I don't see how.
You don't buy that. Okay, Obama. Okay. What do you think about that?
So I think my approach on that is, so if you need to change, number one, you need to have a will in you. So those people who are somewhere but they don't see where to go to maybe start up their career or deal with what they are passionate about, is just because some of them, if you try to see, they are not social, because everything starts with people. And you need just to show up in a certain group of people where you have to talk about sensical things, about maybe your career. There in those groups, you can find some of the guys, of course, who are interested. But if they're not interested, it does not mean that, of course, you want to change. What you need to do is to keep on finding a good place you fit based on the vision you have. And maybe the vision you have is all about developing your skills so that, of course, maybe you can be smart in it. Because remember, in every skill, so that it can actually start being functional, you need to take some time somewhere doing that same thing, and do it, repeatedly without stopping it. In addition, what I just see is that those young people out there, they need to be flexible to many types of skills that we do have, because you never know which one you will be good at. But try to just collect as much information as possible from different areas. Also, be in people, have friends. Because if you need to get somewhere, you need a connection, somebody to take you to there. It is the same way, you see, when those people who deal with electricity, they need the poles. So in a pole, if you don't have one pole, you cannot have a cable, transmit to the other area. So we need one so that, of course, we can jump to the other side. Then we find ourselves to a hiring place which actually fit us based on what we know.
Well, just before I beg to disagree with some of what you said. What was that? My brain is disappointing me. Yeah,
By the way, I like that because
it was what you were saying about. Okay, I got it. So, okay, don't worry. You're not gonna, escape this. You're telling us that to gather as many information. Of course, we don't deny that we, and also to try to to learn in so many domains, to understand so many stuff. Different areas. But I'm afraid sometimes when you not focus on one subject, sometimes you're not even be able to really master it. And then you lose the track. So do you think that can really work? Lycra, what's your take on that? It's going to get
You know, for me, it works. You know, God has blessed us with a lot of talents. So we have to let them grow. So do as much as you can do, and it is possible, all right? So I'm not going to limit myself because people are saying, you know, you have to focus on one field, you have to focus on. If I'm able to do 2 different things and I know that I can receive the outcome from them, I'm going to do them. I mean, there's no way I'm going to limit myself because of that.
Well,
and it is possible.
Well, you see, she's supporting your idea. I'm also disappointed again as well, because like this is maybe sometimes what we lack in not only in our country, maybe in Africa. I haven't really traveled a lot across the continent, but sometimes you find people like we have, you know, technical staff, you know, in different institutions, but you find they don't really, you know, supply to services. Their performance is somehow weak. They are weak because they don't really master something. You find maybe there is this lack of experience, or maybe there's this lack of, you know, enough trainings over the thing. So then you find instead of, you know, focusing on one thing and really master, for example, you are an engineer. You just, you know, we have, even engineering is so broad. You know, for example, we have an engineer, you know, working into electricity, another one construction, another one who's an expert in you know, water devices. Maybe another one is you know, an expert in plane construction or manufacturing, other in cars, and somebody else in some other thing. So when you are not really skillful in one domain and you want to really, you know, gather all those skills, you know, sometimes I think you lack those track. What do you, Obama, are you still supporting the same idea?
Yeah, kind of changed the question.
So I think having so many careers is not a problem. So, which is the reason why, by the way, for those people whose belief is on one career, they are broke in their cities. So imagine, let me give you a very simple example. You know about those kind of photography, you know something about it. For example, and you speak English, you teach people, you interpret. By the way, in English, there are so many types of skills. And you know those skills, you also deal with the photography. Don't you see that sometimes when, of course, you are not teaching, you are just dealing with the photography, which is, in the other way, making these people who studied, who support their documents, to have maybe been successful in their schools. They believed in the careers they went through. They got this, you know, those kind of diplomas. Then they end up saying that, okay, we'll work here. But there are some young people trying their, you know, to simply be in some like kind of, you know, marketplaces, dealing with the, you know, selling clothes. At the same time, of course, they do some other stuffs away. Let me tell you, if a young man needs to be successful in life, he has to have as many skills as possible. That is.
Well, Lycra, you still stand behind. Anyway, there's this also this question that we skipped, you know, because just Obama came up with the idea that I couldn't really buy. I couldn't really, you know, believe it was true, but still maybe you were able to convince me, and it's really good to learn. If you can, of course, as she said, please learn, you know, don't, you know, miss out on the opportunity to learn and get as much information as you can. So I want to know, I'm just trying to talk on behalf of the young people, unemployed especially. Don't you think those, you know, companies owners, you know, those people have money. They have places where they can hire people. When they ask for some 5 years of experience, because when you see they make an announcement, they say, we need somebody who has this profile, and you find there's also another point saying at least 5 years of experience. Don't you think it's also, you know, it's just a fact of excluding some of the candidates?
Can I?
Yeah, come on.
So I think also hiring philosophy should just be modified a bit. Mm-hmm. So, you know, some companies hired people based on where they come from. And you know that's how in our country things are. You find, you go somewhere, you actually have even, you know, you see some people presenting their credentials there, and just they are good at something, not just through 5 years of experience, but just because those people, you know that brains are not the same. Sometimes there are some brains that's really, you know, smarter. They, you know, those brains don't need actually to take longer time actually learning. You find when you just give, you know, a job to those people, they do it better. You can even testify it from a place they used to work. Okay? Then you come up with your philosophy that you go into based your hiring philosophy on 5 years of experience. At least there you should do what we call, you know, interview. And the interview shouldn't be robotically. So there are people who actually interview those who are, you know, the candidates of the job. They should be flexible, number one, and they should be, you know, smart in asking questions and know what those people are able to do. But if you try to see for the moment, you find a guy is on the table of, you know, they are around the table there. They are just, the guy is asking questions to the interviewee, and the interviewee is trying to just get back to him. But the guy, because maybe sometimes they know each other, or the other time if they don't know each other, he just put him on the list of those people who would be hired, not just maybe based on the ability, but because himself is not as smart as, of course, he should. I think what is needed is to change the way, of course, they hire. Okay, by changing the way they hire, also, you know, those people who sit on those chairs of interviewing, they should be experts in interviewing, not always just giving job, you know, basing on the philosophy which is being set like that, no change, you know, that actually is a kind of weakness. Yes.
Well, Lycra, you marry the idea as well.
Yeah, I really agree. Yeah.
Well, people are interviewing. They should be able to figure out, to discover the talents that they are looking for. So here, let me ask this, maybe the last one, the question. We are saying that degree matters and sometimes doesn't really matter. Brother Obama said it, but I want to know now. What does really matter in today's world?
It's clear.
What is mattering? Let's start by what does really matter?
Tough question.
Very, very tough.
For me, you know, because we're here in Burundi, and Burundian, you know, they always want to know if you have a degree. Even though you have that experience, it's even better if you can present a degree in any kind of field. So it really matters. Degree matters, and it also depends on what you do. There is something you cannot say that I know how to do it if you haven't never been to school. So degree matters.
Yeah, of course, it matters. So I want to know what else, because you say it does. Of course, it matters. What else does matter today, apart from the degree? What else?
What else?
Yeah.
People, you know, you have, you know, like Edouard said, you have to have connections. You have to know people. You have to know how to socialize, because who are you going to tell what you know? You're going to tell to people, and people will tell to somebody else, and we're going to tell, this is how you're going to get where you want to go. Yeah.
Well, thank you very much. Obama. So you said degree doesn't really matter so much. So what does matter?
The answer is what matters, it's what works for you. So I think what works for someone...
The very philosophical guy. This guy is going to kill me with his philosophies.
I think what works for someone is what, of course, he should simply follow. And you cannot follow something which doesn't work. And, of course, there are people who got this kind of... who went to school and still they ended up, of course, having some places to go to deal with the volunteerism. In the end, they end up actually being hired in the same place because of that kind of experience. Then if that works, of course it works for you, it's good. There are people, of course, who did not go to school, but it does not mean they have to be put away, and you know that they are there. Those people, many of them are businessmen. Of course, as long as that business works, that is good for you and it fits you. I think this always depends upon each individual's belief. That is. Thank you so much.
Well, one's belief. True? Or
what he thinks. If I use the word belief, I think understand me there. Thinking system, how he thinks.
Yeah.
It depends on him.
Yeah, sure. But people think differently. You might find me on the wrong track. I mean, on the wrong path.
Yeah.
Say maybe my thinking has gone not in the right direction. You see, maybe I'm thinking about also depending upon the place where I am. For example, here I'm thinking about being a plane driver, a pilot. Here, where we're going to get because I'll never get a plane here, for example. I'm just here. And I'm done with my university. I don't even have a chance to grab a master degree or somewhere to pursue my studies. So will I keep my thinking like that, or I have to change also the thinking?
I think, which is the reason why I gave you this kind of concept of course, skills first, okay? Because if you are dealing with the skills, other things will be easy, because the one to orient your life is you. And other people are there to rather support you in a way that they maybe don't know. You learn from them, and you just simply keep on following some of principles, of course, you've put in a place, so that, of course, one among your vision can become possible. Of course, about this kind of, supposing that you need just to be in aviation. So, and you see that aviation, you need to go out. I think what you need is to keep on just learning, but as long as you see some of the people who dealt with aviation, you can just approach them and start talking about them by asking them, what does it take to be that person? Who did you actually get this kind of aspiration from? So then, through this kind of questions, also you have to be serious guy in just following your vision. If you see that there are some kinds of dilemma or hindrance somewhere, every kind of career there must be some problems. Even that which we think is easy actually is hard. So the only thing we need to do is to scale by aligning ourselves with what we think works for us.
Well, thank you very much. Sorry, I've said that was the last question, but I have so many questions in me. So let me ask this one, but this one top last. Sometimes we see when organizations and institutions, companies are hiring, they prefer people who are graduated from abroad. You see, who have degrees from in national university, not Burundian university. So do you think our degrees are not at the same level as the ones coming from the other side of the fence? Let me say so.
What I can say, I don't know really if, because I've never studied there, but what I hear is that, there they do a lot of practice than here. So, and if you have a lot of practices that you have done abroad, and we know that they have good teachers and education is really good than this one, our education is really weak. Okay, so they really prefer somebody from there. Yeah, I think that's the reason why. And they don't, like here in Burundi, we don't trust, ourselves. I don't trust you, I just trust people who are, from there, from abroad, from other countries. So I better hire people from there than people that I see, because you guys, you don't know anything, okay? I don't trust you, so I think that's the mindset that we have.
And seemingly, it's as if they're right, because not trusting us because they say they have enough time to practice, whereas here they don't have really enough time to practice, and they have our education is weak.
Somehow they're not. They should, if they're hiring, like Edouard said, when we are interviewing, you have to know really if you have to. I don't know how you're gonna come out to find out that this one really knows the thing that he's telling me. Because if you're just, they will present documents, you just see, I have studied in France, I have studied in Burundi, and then you excluded the one who studied here. I don't think it's really a good idea. It's better you get them there and just ask them. Maybe you will be amazed to find out the one in here in Burundi is even more better than the one from the outside.
Well, thank you. Obrama, what do you think about those people hiring so much people having degrees from the other parts of the world rather than those who have degrees from this country? Do you appreciate that, or you dislike it?
So I think the main reason for them is just due to this kind of information they get from those people who went to study abroad. I think the system of education in Burundi is poor, as it is said. But of course, though it is poor, I don't tell
you guys.
Wait. Ladies,
come on, it's okay. Sorry to interrupt.
Though it is poor, I don't just discourage people to, to go to school, but rather they should, of course, keep on going. But what I urge them to do is to start visiting libraries, in just, of course, trying to expand knowledge. Of course, they should simply live with. Okay, coming up on the question about those people who are hired here, of course they studied abroad, it's just because they studied some high-ranking programs, which is quite different from this program that we have in Burundi. So let me use the word Africa. But by the way, in Africa, there are some of the countries that's actually try about the education, and some other countries where the education is as much as it is in here. So I think also you do have this kind of belief that if actually I can have a kind of company somewhere, the one who should simply be given this kind of opportunity is the one whom I know that he's able to do this. And this person is from, studied this from somewhere. Due to this kind of value or this kind of, respect, these countries where they studied, those people where they studied are valued, because actually those countries, like person who studied at Harvard University, imagine the guy who studied there, and you know that actually that university is the most powerful among the other ones. By the way, there are some other ones. Or somebody who went to Oxford, or Cambridge University in science. So imagine that person. Will he be aligned with the one who studied here in a certain university here? It is hard because even the system they study through in here, it doesn't actually create a platform where young people can have like a groundbreaking system in them, so maybe they can even help the country, which means there is something wrong somewhere in the education. But those people actually, due to how they value, see those guys who become president of the US, at federal level, you see how they are. Those guys are smart. And due to this kind of smartness they have is just because they went to those schools. That is.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. This is maybe the end of the debate, but not the end of the show. Let me step to the second section, which is quiz time. Well, I'm telling you guys, we have so brilliant guys in the studio today. And my first question goes straight to the lady. How we start by ladies. Lycra, tell me, we were talking about, degrees and, schools, skills, studies, stuff like that. So I want to know, tell me 3 great persons who are dropouts.
Oh my God, who dropped out of college or dropped out of studies?
Studies, college, yeah, of course, here, because, they are so famous and they are really known, they have a lot of
3
iconic persons.
Yeah, I have him in my mind. Is Bill Gates.
Okay, first one.
And I don't know.
You don't know another one?
I just know Bill Gates.
You don't know Bill Gates.
Yeah, but there are a lot of people who dropped out, but I don't know if they're, as you said,
they are among the richest people in the world.
Maybe I know they're rich, but I don't know if they did
drop out.
Yeah.
Of course, that's the question. The question's there.
Bill Gates, Benson. Is it Benson?
Benson is also a dropout?
Really? He dropped out?
No, I don't know. Me, I
don't
about
know?
3. No, I don't know. You are guessing. You're not sure.
I'm guessing.
Oh
God, I don't know anybody else.
Obama might know. The 2 last.
The 2 last?
Yeah.
Albert Einstein.
Einstein was a dropout as well?
Yeah, he was a dropout. He went to 10 schools being chased away. Actually, he decided to go to Zurich, where of course he conducted his scientific researches, but this guy came to find that the education was not in the right program. Yeah.
Well, and last
and
one?
Mr. You said Bill Gates. The other guy who dropped out was Steve.
Yeah, Steve Jobs.
Yeah,
We
Steve Jobs.
still have the last one. Maybe let's add the 4th.
That's one.
Mark Zuckerberg.
Mark Zuckerberg.
Facebook.
Yes. Facebook.
Founder. Yeah.
Those guys actually, imagine.
Really?
I sometimes have this kind of, observation. I analyze. Why then schools? Yet even those people are great, iconic, and billionaires. They did not even finish their studies, which means they have the other types of reality that we don't see. Maybe.
Yeah, but we should even talk about the people they hired, Maybe they hired people who have degrees.
Yeah,
that's the problem,
Yeah.
But they mostly hire genius.
Yeah, you
Genius.
see? Yeah, genius.
From India.
Okay. I see. Well, can I ask last question?
Okay.
Mr. Obama, give me 2 parts of, not parts, give me how many parts the coin has. Give me the parts of the coin. How many? The coin. You understand the coin? A coin. Money.
I see.
Yeah, man.
A penny. How many parts does it have?
Past?
Parts.
What is this?
Parts?
Yeah, of course. Free. You're guessing? Is it you're not sure?
I know.
You know, yeah, okay. Tell me.
5.
5 parts.
Yes.
No, you were right the first time, but now you
But no, I am thinking, I think there are more than that.
No, we have only 3 parts. And I know what I knew. So
Yeah,
can
that's
you
what
tell me that?
You
Can you tell
see,
me them?
it has some
at it.
like surface.
Uh-huh.
The other side, you see, man, I don't know how I can call it.
The other side.
The other side. But with the other side also there are some other 2 parts. From one side to the other side.
It just has 3 parts.
Okay, I see.
There is
the
this,
three
the
parts.
edge. You see the edge. And there's also the head and the tail. 3 parts. What else?
I was talking about the same
But
Sorry.
man, I said about 3, then I saw 5.
No, you
Yes.
you are a genius. You must be creative and find some new parts, of course. Anyway, we done with the second section. Let's go to the last section, which is we are gifted. Well, now we try to discover the talents here. I do believe we have so many talents. People don't know my people we have today. I'm telling you, they are so gifted. They are so talented. So let me ask them. And as I told you, I always start by a lady. Lycra,
Yes.
do you know your talents now?
Yeah, I know my talents.
What is the first one?
The first one, oh my God, do I have the first one and the last one?
Give us only maybe 2 or 3.
Okay, I am a slam poetry artist. So this is my first talent. I really do like writing, and I'm singing sometimes. Yeah, and another talent I do draw, but not really that much. I just, because that one doesn't really give a lot of money, so. Not to me, but maybe it was for others. Another one, I'm just, I love English. I don't know if English is a talent. I don't know. So, yeah.
Sure, thank you very much. Obama, what are they? We've been, I don't remember when the last time you came here we talked about that.
Yeah, sure.
What was that? What have you given us?
Encouragement. So, but I wish I could use the word industriousness. I mean, a sense of
Working hard?
yes, working regardless of whether this thing is hard. It's all about just kind of industriousness.
Industriousness.
Yes, I mean, I'm an industrious guy. It is what actually fuel my effort to seek the information.
All right,
Yes.
that's really great. That's really great. But see, I face a problem. I face a setback right now because I just want you guys to demonstrate your talents. But here we are lucky enough because Lycra will be able at least to perform 1 slam. That's the shortest. That's the shortest version of it. So because we are lucky to have her here today. So let us maybe give her some minutes. Let's give her just 1 minute.
1 minute?
Just 1 minute.
Oh my
Is it
God,
too long?
I didn't prepare myself for that.
It's your talent. It's your talent. You're passionate about it.
Yeah.
It's
But
and again, you will find a way to demonstrate that industriousness.
It's clear.
Not
even
really.
for me, it's clear. If you want them, go to YouTube.
Of course. Maybe you start by the one that is on YouTube, or just maybe another one that maybe you're writing today or composing, or then maybe you also tell us where we can find you on YouTube, maybe or your credentials, maybe your some information that can lead us to the, of course, maybe, but at least people are thirsty now.
Okay.
They want to.
Yeah, let me just tell them where they can find.
But yeah, of course.
Of course, I will tell them. I will try if I have, some. All right. So they can find me. I have created this Roar of Actions company. just to give opportunities for young people to to use their talents. So they can find that on Facebook and YouTube as well. And my name is Lycra Splendor on Facebook, Instagram, and not YouTube.
YouTube is what?
Yeah, only YouTube is Roar of Actions Company.
Roar
of Actions.
Roar of Actions Company.
All right, so if I have some peace in my mind that I can present right now.
Yeah, sure.
Do I have? I didn't prepare myself for that.
It's okay. Can you improvise? It's a freestyle.
I was locked down in cell back in the day. Tradition silenced my ambitions. I drowned in deep misery. They told me I wasn't good enough to handle a stick. Considered weak, I could not get involved in politics. And that is. And that is.
Yeah. It's okay. Thank you. Thank you, by the way. Thank you. Because we are still first.
Yeah,
first year, no, we still feel
I have to
that, okay, anyway. Obama, how are you going to demonstrate your, how can we maybe,
Man, it's huge because actually it's huge. So if I say that I am that, then what I can simply tell just the people is, number one, I am a teacher, an English teacher. Just tutor one. And number two, I'm also a public speaker. And I am, I like actually having conversation with people. God gave me this, I talk. I talk. And I think what I'm saying, some guys, if they are not, if they don't need to challenge themselves in actually proving in their hearts that I am the one I'm saying, that they may even just treat me in the other way. Because if we use the word encouragement, I think they can understand. They can understand how encourages a certain person is. Maybe through works, that of course he does, of course I do, or that's a kind of a skill that I can just leave, of course, to the people who are watching.
Sure. I'm lucky because you have also included public speaking. You are a public speaker, so maybe we can find just a little bit of your encouragement, your motivation through that public speaking right now that we can demonstrate. Just 1 minute or less than 1 minute.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, distinguished guests, today we're here, as each and every single person can see us three here, to simply talk about some sensical issue. Here we've been talking about young people. The young people, of course, we are talking about are those people who are broke. So those who are broke, of course, always they have to understand that life is not just based on keep on just staying home, but rather going out. The fact of simply going out will help each and every single guy to simply be known by some people who who don't know about their talents, who don't know about what they think. Of course, young people who are still maybe in a certain place where, of course, they are not seen by the world, nobody will know about who they are. I think now what is needed is to simply put yourself to some different places where, of course, you can get some kind of credit from some different people who are able to just shift you from the levels you are to the other type of level. Thank you so much.
Wow, I appreciate so much. So guys, I'm really touched, and I just want to say that you are so amazing. You are so amazing. Both of you have been so great. You've been able to share with the public, our viewers, and I just want to say thank you for your, your time, your viewpoint sharing and everything. Thank you, Lycra.
You're welcome.
Welcome. Okay, thank you, Brother Obama, as well, to share with us today, and also to impact or to share, to motivate, especially young people are watching us today. I just want to also to say that I'm grateful for everyone, for the viewer, for the views that we have today, and I just want to say that you are blessed, and I just want to ask you to stay tuned to this BNP TV. It's Start Time channel 125, and also you will find these shows on YouTube. See you.